breaking news now. Liz Truss announcing she is stepping down as Prime Minister of the UK. She was in office just for 45 days.
Indeed. Correspondent Ollie Barrett live in London with more. Ollie, good morning to you. Obviously a huge story breaking here just a few minutes ago. And to be honest, it is not surprising that she stepped down. It is surprising, though, that things got this bad this quickly. Walk us through the tumultuous 44 days of the Liz Truss administration.
Absolutely. She came to power after a leadership campaign in her Conservative Party that saw her elected on a mandate from the party membership to cut taxes. But when it came to cutting taxes, the markets were spooked. She had to fire her finance minister. There were all sorts of episodes just in that short period of 44 days of party discipline. And we saw Conservative lawmaker after Conservative lawmaker coming out privately and then starting to do so publicly as well, saying that it was time for her to go, that her leadership simply wasn't working. So the pressure intensified, and it got to the point today where one of these senior members of the party went to see her to talk about what would come next. Liz Truss saying to us on the steps outside Downing Street that she's already had the conversation with King Charles to say that she will be resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. That therefore triggers a leadership campaign. But one of the real concerns among Conservative MPs was that a leadership campaign could be long, it could be drawn out, it could be divisive at a time when the country is in economic crisis. So they have cooked up a plan whereby the new leadership campaign to replace Liz Truss will only last a week. What that means is we'll have a new Prime Minister in around 7 days from now. Whether that new Prime Minister can maintain any sense of party discipline in what is a deeply divided Conservative Party very much remains to be seen. In the background, we have the opposition parties saying that this is chaos, saying that the government is playing with people's lives and their livelihoods, causing anxiety around financial markets and around households' finances as well. They say there must be an immediate election. But for now, what we can confirm is that Liz Truss is stepping down as leader of the Conservatives and therefore as Prime Minister in a few days from now, and there will be a replacement for her, as I say, within days as the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
And that means, just a little nugget here, it's going to be the third Prime Minister of the year in just a few days. So that kind of just shows kind of the chaos there and that revolving door in a sense. So can you explain to our viewers here in America who may not be following these politics why it is such a revolving door and why there is this complete chaos in an unprecedented crisis situation?
Well, what is so extraordinary is that Boris Johnson, the previous Prime Minister, won a thumping great majority in the House of Commons in an election in 2019. At that point, it was being speculated that he could be in office for 10, perhaps 15 years. But then COVID hit, there were very difficult economic times, and there were a series of scandals and controversies that brought Boris Johnson down. That led to the leadership of Liz Truss, but it really also exposed huge fault lines within the Conservative Party. Those on the right that wanted tax cuts, those on the left of the party that wanted what they saw as more responsible financial management, all sorts of ongoing arguments about how Brexit should be handled in the years to come, and those divisions really have just come home to roost. Also bear in mind that when Liz Truss came to power, it was just hours later really that the Queen died. So that 45 days that Liz Truss has been Prime Minister, there was also a 2-week period when very little government was going on because of the national period of mourning. So in some senses her premiership can be viewed as even shorter than that.
And just to be clear, the gravity of this, the BBC, their chief political correspondent, literally calling this an unprecedented crisis in British politics. Ollie, we're out of time, but please stay with us because this really is extraordinary. Now the big question becomes who's next, and Boris Johnson's in that mix. But we'll get to that more later in our newscast. Thank you for that live report from London. We'll be right back with more after this.